And I'm going to call the meeting to order. And before we begin, the town manager will announce the protocols.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To begin, I ask everyone to ensure their phone is on silent. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. It will be posted on the town's YouTube. For those in the room, it is important to remain quiet and participating in the discussion. If you are participating in the discussion, speak audibly into your microphone. For those on Zoom, it is important that you keep your camera off and microphone muted unless participating in the discussion. If you are participating in the discussion, please unmute yourself and turn on your camera. If you are a resident and would like to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature. For speakers both in person and over Zoom, please state your name and street that you live on for record keeping purposes before you make your comments. If this meeting gets interrupted for any reason, I will be in the Zoom and send a new link via email. Turn it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? And thank you. Before we have our meeting and our public comment period, I'm going to call the chair of the Board of Supervisors of Elections forward to do their constitutional duty.
Good evening, I'm James Barry. I'm Chair of the Somerset Board of Supervisors of Elections. Other members of the committee are Sherry Bindeman Khan, Kristen Connor, Greg Lowcraft, and Rachel Miller. There will be an election May 12th for mayor and 2 council seats. The term is for both is 2 years. To be eligible to run for office, a candidate must be a citizen of the United States, have resided in the town for at least 18 months before the election, and be a qualified voter of the town and of the state. The floor is now open for nominations for mayor.
I have a nomination. Do I have to tell you where I live? I'm Debbie Heller, council person, and I live on Fallstone Avenue. And it is truly my pleasure and honor to nominate Rohit Khanna for mayor.
I second.
Do we have to do that? But
No,
thank you.
well, what's important is that Rohit Khanna needs to accept the nomination. Minor detail.
But I have something to say first, okay? You might not want to accept that fact, because I'm done. Rohit came to us and taking over a council seat of Steve Serco, and he took us by storm. He has done incredible work. He has a long career, at the World Bank of 30 years and other such places. And he is what I would say wicked smart. And he has represented us wherever we go. It was my pleasure a couple of weeks ago to go to Annapolis with Rohit. And he is really amazing. He testified, he shook hands. People know him already. He is very forward outside of his community, and he will represent us well. And I know as a council member, I really look forward to working with him. So I hope that we'll all support him.
Here, here.
Do you accept, sir?
I accept. Thank you very much, Debbie, for the
You're welcome.
nomination, and I accept the nomination. Thank you very much.
Are there any other nominations for mayor?
Mhm.
By Zoom or otherwise? If someone is watching, will they be able to
I'm
make
looking
it?
at this,
Yeah,
but nobody's.
no one has.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll suspend the nominations for mayor. I'll just mention now that the nominations by petition are available for the next 2 weeks. So if someone wishes to make a nomination by petition, they need signatures of at least 20 voting town residents. And that should be delivered to the town manager by 2 weeks from today. Are there any nominations for the 2 council seats that are open?
I have nominations.
You
I
okay?
actually have 2 nominations. And in no particular order, except Erlinda is on Zoom and she's on a plane, or gonna be on a plane, so I want her to be around for it. Is she, EJ, is she?
She's on Zoom.
Okay. Oh, there she is. Hi. Okay, So my name is Shannon Roback. I've been on the town council for 4 years. I'm not sure how long. But I happily want to nominate Erlinda Doherty. She and her family have been active and vibrant residents in Somerset for almost 7 years. She has been an active parent volunteer on the Dolphins as a stroke and turn judge, social event coordinator, and occasional announcer. She has organized neighborhood-wide educational social events, Somerset Wine and Spirits Club, and has volunteered for several town events, including our July 4th festivities and town council meetings. As a graduate of Rutgers University and Georgetown University's School of Public Policy, she is excited at the prospect of being a part of this town council. She hopes to bring her energy and her enthusiasm for supporting the next mayor and her conscientious and steady work of the town council, but also her unique experience and insight as state and local lobbyist for global e-commerce company. And she truly understands how to maneuver through the state political process. She will work to ensure that Somerset's interests are represented in Annapolis and that our own town's influence remains strong amongst the competing interests of other municipalities and the larger state agenda. She understands how Annapolis works and will do the best to represent and advocate for Somerset in order and also be a good town council member for all of the issues that come up here. In addition, it's kind of like a mother-daughter ticket because her daughter, Scarlett, who is a freshman at BCC, is also going to be running for the youth town council. So hopefully we can have a mother-daughter duo.
Which daughter?
Scarlett. So that's that one.
Could you spell her last name for me?
Maybe.
It's like a quiz. Doherty.
Thank you.
Correct.
So now does she accept the nomination?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Do you accept the nomination?
It's with honor and pleasure that I accept the nomination. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 2, who is sitting right here, Mr. Brett Guiley. And Brett and Shelley and their son Max have been Somerset residents since 2018. They actually live right across from the town council in the pretty navy blue house. Brett spent 25 years working in international tax consulting, traveling the world with clients like GE and IBM. He moved back to the area into the year 2000. He resigned from his job and took on his second career, which he got his teaching certificate from American University. And he spent the past several years teaching 6th and 7th grade history at Westland Middle School. So he's had the honor and privilege of teaching a lot of our town's youth. And he loves that part of that job and is excited to see them, although he feels like he's getting old as they're all going off to college. In addition to that, Brett is currently a volunteer with Washington Episcopal School, where his son attends. And he also volunteers as a photographer for the Somerset Swim Dolphins every summer. And he creates the season slideshow for the annual banquet, which is quite impressive and very well done job. And he's interested, he's retired for a second time, and he's interested in giving back to the community who has been so welcoming to him and his family. And this has been their home, and they're very happy, and he wants to be on the town council to further that. And I think that both of these candidates would be excellent town council candidates.
Do we have a second?
Second, I'll second.
And do you accept the nomination?
I think so.
Very good answer.
Could you spell your last name, please?
Guiley.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for town council?
I have two. Okay, first I want to nominate our very own Robin Barr, who has been on the council for about 5 years. 5 years. And I think Robin speaks for himself because all the work he has done over the years. He's worked tirelessly for us. He is also very outward facing, meaning that he knows the players out in the county. And you can find him in the summer at this major conference that we have, the MML conference, where he is meeting people, talking, representing Somerset. I find him, every time I bump into him online, I go, whoa, I didn't know Robin was coming. But, Robin is there and he has worked hard for us all these years and I hope you will support him. My second nomination,
Wait,
oh, sorry.
let's do one at a time.
One at a time.
Will someone second that?
Second, I second.
And do you accept?
I accept, yeah.
Okay.
My next nomination is for Kumar Vasami. And some of you may not recognize him, but I will tell you, he's in the shadows working for us for a very long time. He grew up here in Somerset, still lives here, and he is a chair of our public safety committee who's done an incredible job on public safety here. I'm amazed to some of the memos I wake up to in the mornings, okay? They're long, they're thoughtful, they are amazing. In short, he is amazing. He is smart and he understands government. He understands our government as well as the outside government. He's volunteered with the fire department for a lot of years. He's not here tonight because he's taking his certification for CPR, I believe. And but he has great capacity to do all these things and work for us. And I think if he is elected, we will be very lucky to have him because he has done incredible work for all of you. And I think many of you may not know him or know of his work, but if you just search around online, you'll see his name, you'll see what he's done. And I think you'd agree with me. So thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Don't know that you'll find him online.
Pardon?
Yeah, he couldn't do that tonight.
It's been accepted.
No, he's not here. He's not on this.
He's not online.
Ron, is it okay to accept that later?
Let me see.
Yeah,
He might need a petition if he's not here to accept it tonight. Can anyone call him?
Excuse me, can I say something? Sherry Bindeman Khan on the Board of Elections. Can you hear me? It's not necessary. It is not necessary that a nominee accept or not accept at the town council meeting. And it's not necessary that there's a second to the nomination. So the Board of Elections has to vet all of the candidates who are nominated tonight, and then it will become official, and then we will announce it to the town. And after that, the time for filing any petition for additional candidates is permitted. So hope you don't mind my interrupting, but that's the way.
Thank you, Sherry. Sherry was the previous chair of the Board of Elections. So it's not necessary for Kumar to accept at this time, but we will vet him.
He will accept.
Are there any other nominations?
I have a question, if I might. Is it necessary, and maybe it's good to have Sherry on the line also, for candidates to own a home in town or live in town? Or both? Or neither?
They need to be voting in Somerset. They need to be a qualified voter of the town of Somerset.
To be a voter, do you have to own a home? Or do you have to?
You can
reside
rent.
in town?
Renting is okay. You have to, but you do have to live in the town.
You have to live in town. Okay.
You also have to be you also have to be qualified to vote in the state of Maryland, not just the town of Somerset.
Okay, thank you so much.
There's a question. Do you still have the 14?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Phyllis.
Still have the 14-day residency requirement?
Yes, yes, I mentioned that. If that's it, the nominations are closed. As I mentioned, further candidates may be nominated by petition with 20 signatures turned into the town manager within 2 weeks. And then we will announce the final candidates in 15 days from today.
Thank you, James.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to say that being the chair of the Board of Supervisors of Elections is one of the most important positions in the town. And Chair Barry has done an incredible job. The board has done a great job, and especially the former chair, Bindaman Khan, who served during COVID when it was quite difficult to run the election. So I think since so many people are here, we should have a round of applause for these public servants, and thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now we will turn to our public comment period. If anyone has a question or comment, please come to the podium here and state your name and your street.
I would suggest that we have an attorney here.
Hold on,
Oh,
We have an attorney.
hold on.
I know, I said.
Is someone coming forward?
We need to.
Oh. Well, let me arise for the occasion. I was just noticing that some
Can you
questions.
tell us your name and your street,
Oh,
please?
my name is Nat Finkelstein. I live on Surrey Street as I have since 1979.
82.
82, okay. I was just noticing we have the town attorney here, and we also have a board of elections, and some questions came up at a time when nominations were going on, so I would strongly suggest that the Board of Elections have a memo as to what is required to be on the council and whether nominations can stay up. I mean, these questions sort of came open, and I'm sitting here thinking, why don't we have the answer to that in a simple memo? So that's my suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure the board will take that out. Is there anyone else who'd like to comment or have a question? If not, thank you very much. The next item is consideration of the permit application submitted by Virginia Murphy for the property located at 5528 Trent Street to screen an existing covered porch. So we will begin the hearing. Today is March 2nd, 2026. This is a hearing before the Town Council of the Town of Somerset for the building permit application submitted by Virginia Murphy for the property located at 5528 Trent Street. The applicant is seeking to screen an existing covered porch. The hearing will observe the following order. First, the town staff will present their findings and submit for the record a report on the application under consideration. Next, the applicant will present their application. Following that, the town council will have the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant or staff relevant to the application at hand. Following that, other interested parties will have the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant or present comments to the council. We ask the residents be limited to one comment each and that there be limited to 2 minutes at a time. When you speak, please state your name and street before you make your comments. If you wish to speak on Zoom, the town manager will call on residents by listed name or the last 4 digits of the phone number if no name is provided. After that, if necessary, the applicant will have the opportunity for rebuttal testimony, after which the public comment period of the hearing shall be completed and the record closed. After that, the council will deliberate and discuss among themselves the merits of the case, the findings of fact, and conclusions. The council may make a motion on a permit decision. If any opposition is presented, the town attorney will be asked to write a decision, and a permit shall not be issued before the expiration of 30 days to allow time for an appeal. If no opposition is presented, the town manager will be asked to issue a permit. We will now begin the hearing with the presentation of the town staff findings and reports. Mr. Town Manager.
I'll go ahead and turn it over to Permanent Administrator Steve Zirko.
Hello.
So 5528 Trent Street, this is one of the new houses that was built in Somerset. Homeowner being Murphy is here. What the homeowners want to do is enclose an already built rear porch. The photograph in the report shows you what that rear view looks like. The proposal is to keep that existing structure and just screen it in. So that means there is no increase in impervious surface area with this proposed project. No increase in impervious surface area means no stormwater management plan is required. This is a fairly straightforward project proposal. There are two interesting facets I just want to call the attention of the council. One, even though there's no increase in impervious surface area, there is an increase in what we refer to as lot coverage. That's because by the county and the town, the way we consider what structures of a building, garage, etc., count towards lot coverage is whether or not the spaces are enclosed and habitable, would be a simple way to put it. So enclosing that screen porch turns it from an open space in terms of lot coverage into a closed space that's part of the closed footprint of the house. The reason why that's important is there are code restrictions on the amount of lawn or the amount of the plot of the land that can be occupied by a structure, a closed structure. So this project is increasing the coverage, but that increase is still within the allowed maximum total for the lawn. To be precise, it brings it up to 32.5% in the R60 coded lots in Somerset are allowed to go to 35%. The other item is really just for the information of the council. You asked me to look at total impervious lot coverage, start to get a sense of what is happening with projects in town. So there are no requirements at this time, but for your information, the total impervious coverage for 5528 Trent will be 3,433 square feet, represents 42.4% of the lot. Basically, that's the house plus driveways, walkways on their plot of land. That's all I have. Do you have any questions?
So we just stay there, yeah.
I will stay there.
So now could the applicant come forward and you can either make a presentation briefly or just comment on the report and be prepared for a round of questions. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, thank you. And hello, everyone. We're looking forward to moving in at the end of March. My only comments are that we dislike mosquitoes. And so we'd really love to be able to screen this in. And as Steve referenced, we will be under the 35% allowed for lot coverage. We're not increasing the impervious surface, so we don't need to do a stormwater review, is my understanding. And I have a mock-up if anyone would like to see. It is literally a mock-up, but it just shows what a screen porch would be. There are posts that will be wrapped, there will be screening around those posts. And that's it.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Is that the record? Or do you want that in the record? Lieutenant Attorney?
Not necessarily.
Okay, thank you. Council President Barr, do you have any questions?
Well, I can assure you that we have no mosquito protection code in town. And I have no questions for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Hell, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions for her. I have a question, and maybe I do. When you bought this house, did you buy it after it was built?
I did.
You didn't have anything to do with the putting any of this together. You didn't know about you didn't know about the porch. I mean, you didn't design it, is what I'm trying to say.
I did not design it, but the builder cannot add the screening because he cannot add any lot coverage, but as an owner, my understanding is I can go up to the 35%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, Councilor Kumar,
No questions. Thank you.
Councilor Rovak,
No questions.
Councilor Khan.
No questions, thank you.
Has any been indicated they wish to?
No.
Okay, so I guess at this point I will turn it over to close the public comment period and turn it over to the council president to lead the discussion
All right.
and decision.
I'll put the motion up first, which is that approve the permit application submitted by Virginia Murphy for the property located at 5528 Trent Street to screen the existing covered porch.
Okay, so is there a second on that?
Second,
Second.
All right, so the discussion. Any comment?
in favor.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Nope, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, the next item, consideration of the permit application submitted by Glenn Machewski. I hope I got that right. For the property located at 5400 Trent Street to construct an addition to the existing property. Okay. Is the applicant here?
Yeah.
Is the applicant not here? Because I was just trying to get the correct pronunciation again. Okay, so we're going to begin. Today is March 2nd, 2026. This is a hearing before the Town Council of the Town of Somerset for the building permit application submitted by Glenn Machewski for the property located at 5400 Trent Street. The applicant is seeking to construct an addition. The hearing will observe the following order. The Somerset staff will present their findings and submit for the record a report on the application under consideration. Next, the applicant will present the application. Following that, the town council will have the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant or staff relevant to the application at hand. After that, other interested parties will have the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant or present comments to the council. Then, if necessary, the applicant will have the opportunity for rebuttal testimony, after which the public comment period of the hearing shall be completed and the record closed. After that, the council will deliberate and discuss among themselves the merits of the case, the findings of fact, and conclusions. The council may make a motion on a permit decision. If any opposition is presented, the town attorney will be asked to write a decision, and a permit shall not be issued before the expiration of 30 days to allow time for an appeal. If no opposition is presented, the town manager will be asked to issue a permit. We will begin the hearing with the presentation of the town staff findings and reports. Mr. Town Manager.
I'll go ahead and turn it over to Permanent Administrator Steve Circa.
5400 Trent came before the council last year with a request for some variances. And they had a sort of notional design of what they intended to do. Their actual plans conform with or consistent with what they have presented to the council. So they are effectively keeping the existing footprint of the house and building up. Variances were required because the existing house is non-conforming to the town's code. So building up would be non-conforming to the town's code. In addition to building up, they're building back a little bit. They're putting in a impervious rear patio. I think they're enlarging enlarging the front stoop a little bit. So there is a net increase in the impervious surface area for 5400 Trent Street of 776 square feet. So, of course, the town's code, they need to provide a stormwater management plan that infiltrates all of that additional water on site, all the additional water associated from a one-year storm event, which for the town of Somerset is 2.6 inches of rainfall. And they do so, and they do it with, I'm pleased to report they're using nicely sized rain garden in the front yard, located sort of between the house and the driveway. So a 1-year storm event would produce 168 cubic feet of water, which translates to 1,258 gallons of water. The rain garden can handle 1,318 gallons of water, so it can handle more water than is being produced. This was intentional because they needed to scale the rain garden to handle the water coming off of the roof areas. And even though some of those roof areas are not new roof areas, but because the drainage pipe is going to the rain garden, this needed to handle that volume of water. So I found it to be a well-designed approach, and it follows the town's guidelines or regulations to use a rain garden before, say, dry wells. I'd like to point out 2 other items. One is a minor item, and I was hoping the homeowner would be here. I've had some discussions on and off with
He's not on Zoom.
with the contractor homeowner. And that is the question of the soil type. I like to capture for my records what the soil type is. The contractors, the professional engineer who designs the stormwater management plan is expected or required to do a site soil survey or sample, at least one, maybe several samples, to make sure that the soil is appropriate for infiltration. I am confident that was done and that the soil is okay, but I've been unsuccessful at finding out exactly what that soil type is. It is not a requirement of our town code that we know what the soil type is, but I just didn't get that piece of information, and that's why for my review, there's a little question mark. That's it. Also like to mention the driveway. I had some back and forth discussions regarding the driveway with the homeowner contractor, because the proposed design includes a small expansion of the driveway down near the bottom of the driveway near the carport area. True, familiar with it? Not very large, I think I have written down 87 square feet, sort of like a parking pad, or an area that allows them to turn around more easily. That section of the driveway appears to be relatively flat, less than 5% slope, but the driveway as a whole has a slope greater than 5%. So this raises the question of, does the town's code about replacing driveways apply, both in terms of slope and that this is just a expansion, not a new driveway? In the end, my assessment was that this is not new. This is not a new driveway. The town's code talks about new or replacement driveways. And the slope of the overall driveway is greater, and they are fully compensating for the additional surface area, impervious surface area with their stormwater management plan. So I consider this to be satisfactory. But I know for the council, it's one of the items I've been capturing, discussing this with EJ. I'll be putting a memo together for EJ on issues or questions that I've noticed with regards to the implementation of the town's code by contractors. And there might be some opportunities to clarify what the council wants to make sure the homeowners and contractors satisfied. I wasn't too long-winded.
Does that conclude your report? Okay, thank you. So the applicant isn't here. Okay, so we will continue the hearing so that we can get all this information on the record. Council President Barr, do you have any questions?
I want Steve to clarify. Tonight, we're only voting on the impervious surface, really, there was the extension to the driveway and the enlarged patio. The other materials we voted on previously and approved, right?
Great question. So all of the required variances were previously approved. So tonight you're approving the actual building permit that's incorporates those variances.
Right, but the only new things are the,
It's the small rear addition and the stormwater management plan.
okay, thank you.
Is that it? Councilmember Howell, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Councilmember Kumar?
Yeah, is it a new driveway? I didn't quite understand your characterization of that.
They're not excavating or removing the current driveway. All they're doing is adding a section to the driveway, a small section.
They're extending the driveway.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Rovak, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Councilor O'Connor?
Yes. So I'm struggling a bit to fully understand, what is this extension you're referring to? I'm just looking at the diagram here. Is it possible to just explain what is you said there's a small extension in the rear. What is that? Where is it on the diagram?
So in the rear, there is a new patio. The old patio is being
okay.
removed and the
Yes.
new patio is being installed. The existing patio is impervious, so the calculations for the project as a whole subtract the surface area of the old patio from the surface area of the new patio.
So when we say that the additional impervious surface is that calculation plus the the driveway expansion.
Yes, that's 770 square feet, or 776 square feet includes. Thank you very much, Jerry. So the additions are a little bit of the front stoop, like a bay window, rear patio, and this addition off the rear. I believe that's a 2-story addition on the rear. Basically, this is going to be a 2-story house, going from 1 story to 2 stories. The subtraction that you don't see in this, but on one of the other drawings, there's an old patio here that's being removed. And then the driveway, so if I come down, let's see. This is the extension to the driveway.
And what is there currently?
Right now, it would just be vegetative lawn.
Okay. That is an increase in it.
So this is part of the increase in surface.
Yes, understand. Okay. And then in the top right corner there, it says proposed Town of Somerset landscape infiltration treatment device. What's that?
That's the fancy engineering name for a rain garden.
The rain garden is going to be there.
That's the rain garden.
That's Howard's house.
Hold on.
Okay. And just to confirm, all the variances that the council had approved last time, the stoop, the bay window, et cetera, what we have now is consistent with those variances.
Yes.
There's no change, so there's no additional variance request or anything today. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Councilor Zulikowski, did you want to come up and ask questions?
I just needed to be situated.
But if you want to ask questions, you need to come, because we're recording all this. So why don't you come and tell us your name and where you live and ask questions?
I live on Trent Street, and I was just, because I live on Trent, I was still having a hard time situating myself and figuring out where the rain garden was on the street. But so Howard Waltzman's house is where?
This is when
It's a
coming
village.
out from your house, making the turn.
right, so Howard's house is here.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. That's my only.
See, this is why we have these elaborate hearings, so
Yes.
that,
I have another question, but I don't think it's the right time to ask.
is it about this application?
Yes.
Yes.
It is the right.
Oh, it is the right
Yes.
one? Okay. First, I just want to say we're super excited about this home because it's been empty for a very long time and there's been a ton of trash in the driveway and probably in that little pad as well. So we're looking forward to having a real house with people living in it or in it. I'm concerned about the parking plan and I don't know how that works these days
Well,
because
we'll ask,
yeah,
the
there's
expert.
very little parking on that cul-de-sac for large trucks. And then what tends to happen is then people, vendors and all tend to park in front of our house. And then when our vendors come, there's no parking. So I guess I'm interested in what the parking plan is and how, as a homeowner on Trent, I will be able to enforce it. Because invariably, some people will be parking in front of our house.
Yes, parking is a frontage issue. And it can. Actually, I don't know, yeah, I don't think.
I can.
let EJ
Yeah.
answer the question.
Yeah, so before we issue the permit, they have to submit a parking plan that's shared with all the neighbors and we'll share it with everybody there and before we issue the permit.
So
So,
I'll be, even though I'm not, right there, I'll still be, you'll share the with me.
yeah. And so,
And then if I'm, and if I'm happy with
Can
it,
you,
if
we want you on the record.
Yes, I do want to be on the record for this, actually. If I'm happy with the parking plan, that's great, but let's say the parking plan includes parking in front of my house. Do I let you know, EJ, or how does that work?
yeah, we would, that it would be something where we sort of work with the applicant to see if there's any alternate things, because since every property is different, we work on like a case by case basis with them. So like, if there are concerns about the parking plan, like there have been with like 4714 Essex, we work directly with the neighbor and connected them with the applicant to figure everything out.
I was gonna say, it is an unusual
Hold on,
street,
hold on.
so you may want to preemptively do it.
Hold on, let's not.
I can bring it up later.
Did you have any other, did that answer your question?
That sure did.
Do you have any, this is your opportunity.
I know, no.
Do you have any more?
I don't have any other questions.
And you did have a question about enforcement, so why don't you address how, so if there's a violation of the plan, because I think she had a question about that.
Oh, yeah.
What's the procedure?
So if the parking plan is violated and you notice at any time, you can contact the town hall and we will one, immediately tell them to move and get them to move. And then if it's a recurring problem, we start to fine them for every infraction.
And also, from when you were on the council, remember, there's a sign there with the phone number.
Yeah.
So if it's well, you can call the town hall 24 hours, but you can also call the phone number. And then if it's continued violations, we bring them in. So be on it.
I have to
Be
say,
vigilant.
I feel badly for the builder because there was not really much space for his vendors to park, so I'm sure he's aware of it, but it'll be tight. Thank you all.
Keep monitoring. Thanks for coming tonight. Is there anybody else? Okay, so I think that concludes the public hearing part and the record is now closed. And I will turn it over to the council president to lead the discussion and decision.
Right. So before we move the motion, I want to make a remark on the rain garden and what's missing at the moment, which is that evidence that the soil is sufficiently permeable that it can actually have a rain garden there. And that is critical to the stormwater management plan. That is the major vehicle in which they're controlling the runoff. Absent that information, I have difficulty approving the plan as it stands. So others.
I didn't quite understand that.
Well, for a rain garden to work, the soil has to be permeable. So the water has to drain through. There's sort of sand beneath it and stuff like that. And if it lies on flat on top, it's not working. Some of our soil in town is not good enough for a rain garden. In fact, Steve Circle's soil is not good enough for a rain garden, as a matter of fact. And so therefore we do need to test the soil to make sure that it is appropriate for a rain garden. And usually an engineer does that and presents the evidence. But Steve is not in possession of that evidence at the moment. And that leaves me uncomfortable over whether this does in fact work as a rain garden. So
Can we approve this conditionally? That's done, that they test the soil?
Well, trust the town attorney.
Yeah.
Yes, that's possible. You could condition approval on would be a perk test or a soil
it's
test?
a perk test, yeah, percolation test.
Do you recommend?
And would you be able at this time to specify what perk rate must be found in the test? Or
It's the county standard for it. I can't specify, but it is in the county.
county standard or the Maryland design?
Well, it's both. I think it's the same.
So yes, that's possible.
Do you recommend we do that? Or wait?
From a legal standpoint, either works. Have a strong.
You also can table this until the next council meeting.
Sorry, just to clarify then, Ron. This decision would be that it is subject to this soil test, and if the soil test just supports a rain garden, the permit will be issued.
Yes.
If it doesn't, then this will have to come back to the council.
Correct,
Is that what it is?
correct. So EJ would not provide the permit until the soil test comes back in an acceptable manner.
So given that, is one of you willing to make a motion?
I think one other thought I have is that given the comments we received and having been familiar, so not to bring my sort of privileged experience to this, it is a very tight space. And so I would also want a condition sort of on the parking, or you want to, yeah, on the parking plan, meeting reasonable conditions that will be functional in that environment.
So are you ready to make a motion?
Yes, I can try a motion.
And then Ron will help you.
Okay, so motion to approve the permit application submitted by Glenn Mazieski for 5400 Trent Street on two conditions. One, to obtain, following a stormwater soil perk test, is that right?
Yeah, it's percolation test. Yeah.
Percolation test, and a parking permit, parking plan that meets reasonable conditions for the constraints of that street and that environment.
So Mr. Town Attorney,
Sorry,
is that?
that was pretty bad, but did we get that?
No, that
I
was.
think the form of the motion is fine, Mr. Mayor, but I am concerned about what the reasonable
Yes.
requirements should be for parking. And if I can just
Uh,
read from
yeah.
the code real quick. So the code provides that the applicant should submit a parking plan whenever it is likely that 3 or more vehicles of persons involved in construction sought to be authorized by a town building permit, other than the owner of the property which is the subject of the permit, will be parked within the town at any one time. Such plan shall identify the location of the parking areas to be used by such vehicles. Compliance with a parking plan approved by the town council shall be a condition of the issuance of the building permit, and a violation of the parking plan may be grounds for revocation of the permit. Parking plan shall provide that, to the maximum extent feasible, parking shall be located on the property which is the subject of the town building permit. To the maximum extent feasible, if additional parking is needed, parking shall be located on more than. If additional parking is needed, parking shall be located on more than one street in the immediate area of the property which is the subject of the town building permit, and to the extent feasible, parking more than 3 vehicles in the same area of the town street shall not be permitted. So with those criteria in mind, maybe we can
massage the motion a little bit and say you're, allowed to park no more than 3 vehicles on the site at one time. And if you need to park more vehicles, you
Sorry,
can,
3 vehicles is based on the code?
yes.
Yes.
So we're just reiterating what's in the code.
No, let him finish. though.
Councilmember
Yeah,
Kumar fashion his motion.
but finish what you were saying.
Yes, I would say no more than 3 on the site, and then if there's more than 3, then the additional vehicles may be parked at a rate of no more than 1 car per street in the immediate area. So if they have 5, only 1 could be on the adjacent street to the left, and another could be on the adjacent street to the
I'm
right.
pretty confident they don't have 3 spots like that, just so you know.
Oh.
But that's the constraint.
Well, So yeah, if we know that is a constraint, then we should make it obviously a condition that's workable.
Yes,
When you say they don't have 3 spots,
it's just there isn't enough street
right there,
space.
so they would have to spill over around the circle?
They will 100% spill over around the circle. And then it will be a very difficult street to maneuver with the vehicles that they will need to bring in and out. It'll just be very difficult. So that'll happen 100%. So it would be good to make it so that it's functional for everyone. They get to park and the vehicles move in and out, construction happens glitch free. So I do
what's
not
the
know what,
language that
yeah,
you
I don't know. I'm open to such.
Does anyone else want to try?
Yeah, any other, open to it, any other language?
So, yeah, you could say no more than 3 vehicles on the property and Trent Street. And any additional parking should be on.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that. That's a good, yeah.
Remember, I wouldn't worry too much about what you come up with because it can always be amended if it doesn't work.
Agreed.
So why don't
Yeah.
you try something?
So
'Cause you were
to
doing very
to
well there.
massage and modify that component of the motion is that no more than 3 vehicles on the property or on Strand Street and up to 5 vehicles, 1 at a time on other streets.
Okay, is that good?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Sorry to clarify, is this consistent with the code or are we, I'm just a little.
Yes, 100%.
It is, because the code says to the maximum extent feasible, so the council can decide what is feasible based on the site conditions.
Okay.
Okay, is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that was excellent. Okay, the next item. Consideration of a recommendation by town arborist Dr. Tolbert Feather to remove the public tree located at 4822 Dorset Avenue. Oh, the town manager is going to present.
Dr. Tolbert Feather can't be here today, so I'm presenting on his behalf. The tree is a red maple, 22 inches in diameter, 4.5 feet above the ground. In the last snow/ice storm, it ripped off a pretty big branch, and that has damaged the main trunk. So Tolbert is concerned that the tree is now hazardous because of it. Show a picture on the screen.
Is this on doors?
This is on Dorset. This is between Surrey Street and Devon Lane.
Okay, is that?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Council President Barr, do you have any questions?
No questions on this one. It does look in bad way and dangerous.
Okay, Councilor Kumar, do you have any questions?
No questions.
And Rovak is gone and,
Oh,
oh,
hiding behind the TV.
Councilor Rovak, do you have any
Section.
questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Khanna,
No questions.
is there anyone? No. Councilor prepared to make a motion?
Yes, I motion that we approve the recommendation from Dr. Feather to remove the public tree located at 4822 Dorset Avenue.
Second. Oh, Shannon second.
Or whatever.
I think I heard you first. Is there discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Put it in the record that Are you voting, Councilmember?
To remove the tree that's dead? What? Tree? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
It-
sorry.
it-
We vote to get
No
rid of the tree,
problem.
the dead tree.
The next item, consideration of the adoption of an ordinance to establish Town Charter Day.
This is a really short ordinance, so I'll just read it directly. The 5th day of April shall be known as Charter Day to recognize and commemorate the town's founding and incorporation on April 5th, 1906, when the act to incorporate the town of Somerset in Montgomery County, Maryland was approved.
Thank you. Council President Barr, do you have any questions?
So I have an amendment to it, which is to drop the last whereas in it because it does not apply. The last whereas is upon consideration of the testimony and evidence presented in the public hearing, town council finds the ordinance as hereinafter set forth necessary for the good government of the town, for the protection and preservation of the town's property, rights and privileges, for the preservation of peace and good order, for securing persons and property from violence, danger, or destruction. I mean, that's not what this one's about. There is a perfectly good whereas immediately above it which goes into it very well. So it just say, I want to amend the ordinance to remove that last whereas.
Okay, well, when we get to the time period, you could do that. Did you have any other questions?
Well,
No.
this is introduction, isn't it, Mr. Mayor? We've not introduced this yet.
Was it already introduced?
That is a mistake on my part on the agenda. I put adoption, but it should be introduced.
Oh, okay.
I apologize for that error.
Then that's.
Okay,
absolutely right.
So at the appropriate time, before the introduction, you can amend it. Council Member Heller, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Councilor Kumar,
No questions.
Councilor Rovak,
No questions.
Councilmember Khan.
No questions.
Okay, well, this is just introduction, so Council President Barr, why don't you make a motion to introduce it with
Okay.
your amendment?
All right, so I move that we introduce the resolution to establish the ordinance to establish a town charter day with the amendment that we drop the final whereas in the section, which is the one that refers to protection and preservation of town's property rights and privileges, and it isn't appropriate to this
Okay, is there a
particular
second?
ordinance.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Can we just, let's just hear from Ron, do you have any concerns about the amendment?
No, I don't. That's just my template language that I use for all ordinances.
Remember, this is the introduction, so
I just
if
wanna
you want to
know
put it
now.
back in, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, is there further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so it's introduced, and so,
And I'll take out the first whereas as well, which says the same
and
thing.
we will, the
you.
council, the town, you already wrote about it. didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, we will publicize it, okay. The next item is consideration of the adoption of a resolution to adopt recreational camp rules.
Yes, this resolution would amend our application for use of town property, which is where people apply for like town hall rentals and things of that nature, to add recreational camps to that. And then correspondingly, they would add to that a set of recreational camp rules. And Ron, would you be able to just maybe quickly cover?
Yes, yeah, I apologize. I was making changes to the charter day ordinance.
Take
So,
your time.
the council has discussed the fact that there are unofficial camps that are operating that haven't received official approval from the town council, and that such camps should seek approval from the council, and the council should have some application in place and criteria to adjudge any such application. So what I did was take your existing application form for special events and amend it to include recreational camps, and provide that those camps again need approval from the council. They need appropriate state licensing and insurance. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
And because time is of the essence, that's why this is being moved to be approved tonight as a resolution.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor,
Correct.
because yeah, we're coming up on.
And this is because all the concerns about about the safety of the children and everything else. And we want to make sure that these camps are able to apply quickly so they can get going. Council President Barr, do you have any questions?
No, I think this is necessary, so we'll support it.
Councilor Heller.
No, I agree that I think this is necessary, to protect, our children.
And what I could add, Mr. Mayor, that I should have added before, is that the criteria that I've included is also what the council has required for Camp Somerset, so that consistent.
Thank you. Councilor Kumar, do you have any questions?
No.
Councilmember Rovak.
Yes, so it seems like maybe in the past, there has been a differentiating point between a club and a camp. Like there was like Mr. House or something in the past that had a club. And it wasn't a camp, but the town of Somerset, I guess he came before you and whomever, and was approved to operate as a club.
I don't
Do you guys know
but
anything
what-
I'm talking about?
but-
You want to talk about what's going on at school? Yes, public
But-
school.
But you're talking about, I don't know what but anyway, I think that the town attorney can explain why it's gotten to the point where to prevent us from falling into having any liability, we need to approve all these camps. But do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, I don't recall the specific club in question. We could certainly take a look at that, but the camps raised particular concern for the council because there are young children in and about the pool and other town grounds, and being monitored by the camp counselors who are teenagers, and we suspect that there's not appropriate licensure in place for the running of the camp. And because there are children involved, the state does require specific licensure. And also, we understand that the camp was having participants execute releases of liability for the counselors, but not for the town. The town hasn't been involved in the camp, but that's something we do require with Camp Somerset for liability reasons. If someone's operating a business on town property, they need town permission, and they need to indemnify the town for any injuries that result from their operations, and to have their participants release claims that they may have against the town.
And this is, this is really for the protection, not only of the town and limiting liability, it's also for the camps themselves.
Yeah, and for the participants.
And especially for the children.
Yeah.
But
So,
I mean, what is it just a usage of our facilities that makes it be the town has something to do with it? I mean, what, I guess.
let
That's
him
right. Yes,
answer
yeah, because
that, yeah.
the camps are being operated on town property
But I mean, what
and
if,
using town facilities.
what if they didn't use the pool or the tennis courts or the town hall?
Then it's not really involved.
And where would they be operating? In their own homes?
Yeah.
Yeah, then the town wouldn't be involved.
The town's not involved, so it's the usage of the pool. And what about if you use the pool and they pay guest fees? I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, as I understand it, I think that's how the camps originated, and it was a small number.
Mhm.
And probably one couldn't distinguish a difference between the camp and someone bringing guests. But I understand the numbers have grown, and now it looks and feels more like a full-on camp. That
Mhm.
the town council has with Camp Somerset decided certain protections need to be in place for participants and for the town.
Can I also?
Hold on. Do you have any other questions?
Go ahead, I'm thinking.
Well, no. It's her turn, and then and then there'll be a second round.
Okay, sorry.
So this is not a discussion.
Um,
Do you have any other questions?
just out of curiosity, if it's town residents and they're over the age of, the rules of what they go to a pool, for. If they can go to the pool by themselves and they're town residents. Does that say that it's part of the town? I mean,
Well, that is what is happening, right? So I mean, I think that's a policy question for the council.
There are guests.
Hold on. This is not a discussion. This is Councilor Rovak's opportunity to ask about the proposal and then the town attorney.
because, I mean, I just, I don't know how much it would cost to get $1 million of liability insurance. Or $2 million, I think, which is like drawn up here. Does anyone have any idea how much?
Well, that's that you can discuss, but that's right now is your opportunity to ask questions of the town attorney.
Okay, so I guess then. If it's town residents going to the pool and they're of the age that they can go to the pool by themselves. And they're town residents. Does that constitute town responsibility and liability?
Yes,
Because,
but what don't you require? Are these forms for use in the pool?
mm-mm.
I think it's a part.
Hold on. Let her have the floor.
Like, we don't
Yeah,
have
so-
to,
So the
I
answer
don't
to your
think,
question is yes, there's liability for the town currently with that arrangement.
how, but like, if my daughter goes to the pool. I don't sign a release to the town.
Correct.
So why would it be different if she goes with a group of people, a club in the town?
Because at that point, the participant is not just going to the town pool to swim, they're going to swim as a participant in a camp. And the camp is operating, and under that situation, the town has decided with Camp Somerset that certain protections should be in place for the town and its participants. So again, it's a policy question for the council.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Councilor Khan, do you have any questions?
Yes, I mean, I think that what Shannon has raised, a lot of very good questions here. So I want to understand if there is a clear, agreed definition of the term recreational camps. The reason I ask this is.
Well, let's let him answer.
But just because the reason I ask this, Ron, is because the history of these two camps is that they started small. It was basically a couple of Somerset teenagers were babysitting 3 or 4 and took them down to the pool and called it a camp. So my question is, when does a babysitting gig become a recreational camp? Because we do have to clarify.
So let's let him answer that.
So that's the first question.
Yeah,
But I
that's-
mean, I'll have others, but we can just
Yeah,
discuss
but
first.
now's
this
your
question.
chance to ask the questions. This is all good.
So
So
should I go to other questions? Or go
No,
with
no,
this
no,
one
let
first?
him answer that.
Yeah.
I don't know the answers to that. That would be something that the council could define. Recreational camps is not currently defined, so it would involve a reasonable interpretation.
Okay.
But if you wanted to, set a numerical value, that could be done.
Okay. The other.
I mean, I guess just fundamentally thinking about the question a little more, if a parent drops a kid off at the pool and the kid is of an age where, yes, they're allowed to go to the pool, but maybe they're not really old enough to be there on their own and they get injured, then that parent has really assumed the risk in deciding to drop their child off at the pool when maybe they're not old enough to be there. And so it's in that instance, there's an expectation that, the lifeguards will be taking care of the child. And so the town does have the ability to, seek indemnity or cross-claim against the lifeguards if they were negligent. But now let's move to the camp situation, and now the parent is, not assuming that the lifeguards or the town per se is watching their kid. Now it's the camp counselors that are watching the child. And the town may have an interest from a policy perspective to make sure that expectations are reasonable and that where the town can, the town's making sure that everybody is safe. Obviously, there's insurance in place, but we're not in the business of just making sure we're claim free, right? We're in the business of protecting people. And we want to make sure children at the pool or children, on the ball fields are safe. And I think the council's previously thought, at least a consensus or a majority of the council, that once that number grows to a certain amount, where you've got teenagers watching 5 or 10, 8-year-olds, then the concern for safety becomes greater.
Yeah, I mean, I think that raises the question of the numerical threshold and all of that stuff, which I haven't quite grappled with. But let me move on to my other questions. You mentioned the pool, and I think Shannon talked about her daughter going to the pool. So this raises the question in my mind separately whether should we have some sort of release forms for children using the pool and the tennis courts? I mean, what if a child cuts herself on some tennis equipment of the tennis courts? What's the liability? Because I was reading in the history that in the 100 years of history, there was actually a case where this town got sued for something that happened in the tennis court. So does this raise the question of whether we need to have liability, some sort of protection at the pool and the tennis courts anyway?
Well, I'd like to think about that more before I give you an answer tonight. I will say that with respect to Camp Somerset, the license that you've issued to Camp Somerset does require Camp Somerset to have its participants execute a release form.
Yeah.
But as a practical matter, this town and other towns do not require release forms to be executed just for someone using the tennis court or walking onto a ball field or a pool.
The next question I have is in the recreational camp rules in paragraph 3, it says usage fees for use of town facilities may be addressed in the agreement. So do I understand correctly that this means that the fees will be negotiated? Because there's a separate item on permit fee schedules. So does this mean we're going to have case-by-case negotiation of the fees?
It would, yes. Not necessarily negotiation per se, but council determination.
And the last point I had is just to clarify on paragraph 5, when we talk about shall abide by all town codes and policies, that means that this recreational camp would have to pay, if there are non-Somerset residents, they would have to pay guest fees for use of the pool.
Correct.
In addition to whatever usage fees, there'd also be guest fees.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to do another round. Councilor Zambar, do you have any further questions?
Did you forget?
Well,
Oh, did I?
No,
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, you were in first round, right?
You did, I did.
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see through the fog here.
This is your chance to ask a question, not
Right.
to discuss this.
Yep. So how do I put this? When a babysitter is in a private home with any number of kids, it's the homeowner's responsibility and babysitter's responsibility, and that's that. When the babysitter has moved to town property, it is a different set of rules applies because we're now on town property. That's what I see. And
Well,
question
why
is
don't
of
you-
the
why don't
lawyer,
you have
does
the-
that make sense to you, Ron?
Yes. Mr. President.
Thank you.
Is that your only question?
That's the only question for now.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Heller, do you have further questions?
Guess I just wanted to, I guess, ask Ron. These camps, they allow children that aren't Somerset residents. They do come, they sign up. I don't know what the numbers are, but I know that it's for outside of Somerset as well. And I know they pay a daily fee if they're going to go to the pool. So my question is this, Ron, these children come to the pool with the counselors, who I might add are also children. And what if they're left at the pool? You know, because the parents are going to come pick them up and the counselors have gone. We must have liability then, don't we?
So I think the problem here is, in the parents' eyes, I would think they're gonna say yes. And if the town knew this was going on, and the town should have therefore had some responsibility in approving this program and making sure it was a safe program.
Okay.
Any more
I'm done.
questions? Okay, Councilor Kumar.
Ron, a question for you. If a camp, which we still need to define, operates but does not abide by these rules, or we have not approved it, what if we require that camp to declare that they are not covered by town rules? Would that indemnify us?
I mean, potentially that would help, but
Because they would declare this camp is not an approved town council camp and is not and does not carry any liability insurance and is not covered by town rules. That would indemnify us because they have declared that it's not a town council approved camp. What the benefit of that, I'm not making a speech, I just want to get my thought out. Benefit of that is that we get to regulate institutionalized camps, which we should. And if there are informal camps, they get to operate, but then they declare that they are not covered by these rules, so we are indemnified if something happens.
Yes, so I was saying it helps. I don't think it's 100% solution.
From liability.
Right, so let's
I would
say,
love to know what is 100%
right,
solution.
so let's say a child in your situation, a child does get hurt. The parents are looking for a remedy. They've signed a waiver releasing the camp counselor from liability, because we know those are in use. Plaintiff's attorney is probably going to argue, well, the town did attempt to disclaim liability, but that attempt is insufficient under the law because the town was still negligent in allowing the camp to take place on its property. So, you know, a clever plaintiff is going to come up with whatever arguments they can under the law. A court, well, I haven't fully researched the issue, but I would be concerned that it would be the type of thing that court could find you can't disclaim responsibility.
Yeah, it would be good to research because there'll be so many activities, what is effectively a public pool. By that logic, we would be required to somehow, find a way out of some sort of liability to us, and that becomes an endless game. And so we would need to be a little bit more elegant about this. So I wonder if we can research that. I do think that if there's an institutionalized camp, like Camp Somerset, it should be regulated. But if there are informal activities, effectively informal activities, regardless of size, because that's arbitrary.
Well, why is it informal? Just because there's no
institution,
there's
there's
no
no 501,
structure.
yeah, there's no entity to hold liable.
Okay, so do you have any?
There's no entity to hold liable. So it is a group of residents doing stuff.
But is that a distinction without a difference? Because all their activities are the exact same.
Yeah, but it is important, right? Because if it's not an institution, then it's just a group of
Okay,
people
well, that
organizing
you can
loosely.
debate during the.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it would be good to research that
Yeah.
because I do think it covers us to a sufficient extent. And then if there is really someone who wants, there's no 100%, freedom from liability. someone really wants to find a reason to sue us, they will find a reason to sue us, and I don't think we can get out of that, was my
Well,
thinking.
right, and again, the liability, I don't think is the real concern. It's making sure the camp is safe. Because the town does have insurance in place. The town does have protection under the Local Government Tort Claims Act, which limits the town's liability. But, you know, on the other hand, I think there was some heartburn among some council members, knowing that there's a pretty significant size camp being run by counselors who are very young, and that it does present dangers. You know, there have been dangers in the town before with respect to activities with young children.
Well, it'd be good to, I want one more question.
Go for it.
Can you describe what we are requiring these folks to do? Just lay it out again, maybe I've misunderstood.
Sure. So a proposal needs to be submitted to the town council, so the town council can understand what is the camp, what activities are being undertaken, which town facilities will be used, and that the camp is operating lawfully under Maryland law. So Maryland does require a youth camp license. The Youth Camp Safety Act requires a license.
So they would have to get a Maryland Youth Camp Safety License, then apply to us with a formal application.
Right. And
And
have
then
their own insurance in place.
buy insurance.
Yes. And require that their participants follow all town rules
Okay,
and sign a release form. And then the town council can impose other conditions that the town council finds necessary for safety after understanding the proposal.
do you believe there is a solution here where we could create space for informal activities that are not subjected to what we just listed? Pretty onerous requirements. So how do we, achieve this goal of making sure that there isn't, that, we don't suffer from liability and we ensure safety without subjecting them to these requirements? What's these kinds of requirements?
Well,
Is
yeah,
there a way
I
to
think
do
that's,
that?
I think that is a council discussion.
But-
You tell me what you want and I will write it up.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Rovak.
So back to, I guess, like, what makes this a camp versus a bunch of babysitters? Is there a number that, like, is associated with the total camp of, like, how many kids and how many supervisors?
I'm not familiar if there's a generally recognized number.
Can I just comment on this point?
You'll get a chance.
And then,
Lisa's question, and then you can all have a big discussion.
or if it's like a club, is there a distinction between a camp and a club?
Right now, under the town rules, no. There's no distinction.
But I mean, as far as kind of what you were saying, you're saying that the town has its own insurance already. We have different things in place to protect the town for all of our facilities that people use. But this is more because you feel like this is associated with the town, and so therefore it's another level. Like,
Trying to remember exactly how the question was posed to me, but I believe the question was, do these camps present concerns for the town such that the town should be requiring them to be licensed like Camp Somerset? And my answer was yes, because as it was described to me, the way the camps are advertised, it suggests they may have connection with the town. They're using town facilities. The counselors are very young themselves, and I was concerned about children walking around being unsupervised. And based on the number of participants, the increase of danger is greater. One babysitter can only reasonably watch so many children at a pool or the town grounds. You know, I wrote this proposal as I was instructed by the council. If the council's not ready yet to establish public policy supporting this proposal, then that discussion should take place first, and then I can draft.
Well, that's gonna take, but right now there's a proposal on the table. They're asking questions about, which are all good. And then after the questions are over, then you will have a discussion and decide what you want to do. So do you have any further questions?
No, I mean, I just, to me, I would really like more clarification of, you know,
Okay, well, that's part of the discussion.
okay.
Right now, it's to try to get everybody to have as much information as possible before you discuss. So do you have any other questions of the town attorney?
You could pose that as a question.
Huh?
You could pose that as a question if you like, what you were about.
We'll save it for the discussion.
Okay, so
It sounds like it's a
I think we've had
discussion.
all foamy
It
nights.
sounds like discussion.
Okay, I think we need a discussion, but, oh, the other thing, when you said the counselors were young, what age are you determining that young to be?
Teenagers.
So like
Like
under the
20.
age of 18 or?
Councilmember Heller, could you tell me again? You told me before, I don't remember.
I would say under the age of 18. 18, they're adults, but under the age of 18,
Yeah, I think before it was explained they were high school students.
they are.
Yeah.
They have been.
Yeah, and then there is a age requirement for these camp, or well, I should say for the girls' camp. I can't speak for the boys'
Well-
camp. But if there's an age requirement, does that matter? I mean, it's not a preschool camp. It's, I think you have to be
Eight.
8.
Well,
An age requirement for the
hold on a
campers,
second,
right.
hold on a second.
I was just trying to clarify.
Hold on
An
a
age,
second.
you meaning for the campers, an age.
Yeah,
The
requirement.
campers, yeah, there's an age
I
requirement.
believe it's 8.
I think it's 2nd grade or something.
Remember, you're not attorneys for these camps. You are trying to get information on the possibility of regulating them and why.
Okay. I'll just do a discussion if we want to
Okay,
discuss.
Councilmember Connor.
I have no further questions.
Okay, now I'm going to turn it up. Is there anyone else?
That's it.
Matt, you can talk now.
Tell us your name and your street.
Were you saying me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew Zaft, Dorset Avenue, also chair of the pool committee, and not that it matters here, but a swim team rep. I just wanted to clarify a few things. First, one, the town council said a age of 13 for any babysitter to constitute adult supervision of someone under the age of 13. So a 13-year-old, as established by the town council, can supervise someone under the age. And so someone under the age of 8 can be at the pool supervised by a 13-year-old. So that is where we've already established the minimum age for supervision. Anyone age 8 and above, established by the council, can be at the pool unsupervised. So I think those are some important points here. I cannot speak to the boys club. And I do think there is a very distinct difference between club and camp. And I believe Shannon was previously talking about Mr. House's camp, which was in a camp very similar to Camp Somerset before Mr. House retired and moved away. And it was clearly established at the time. He filed a complaint against what was the girls' club at the time. And there was a hearing, and it was determined that the girls' club was not a camp, but rather a club and an informal organization, and therefore not subject to these exact types of requirements under the Montgomery County. I can't speak to the state. I can only speak to the county at the time. I can also tell you that for a girls' club, they never do any drop off or pick up inside the pool. Everything is outside of the pool grounds itself, which is, any club or any group can meet outside on the corner of Warwick and Fallstone. I'd also point out that there is a yoga club that meets, I think it's 3 days a week during the summer and actually sort of during the spring and the fall as well, in the pool parking lot. So on town grounds, typically I would say 15 to 20 people, sometimes more, all ages. And so I think, there's differences here. I'll also go back as far as the actual activities of the girls' club specifically. Most of the time they're in private residence homes. They do baking. They do an excursion down to the monuments together. They do a bike ride to Georgetown together. There is very little use of actual town specific property. The only sort of difference there would be if they do go in swimming at the pool, at which point, again, most of them are residents and would be able to be there unsupervised themselves. And any that are not residents, they pay a guest fee for. And it would be no different than if my daughter went with 2 of her friends and paid the guest fee. I think there's a lot of questions here that make it so that this type of a policy should be tabled until a lot more research and analysis can be done by Ron. I'd urge the council to vote against this policy as written and instead come back with a more specified one and a 2-pronged approach, very much similar to what Councilmember Kumar was proposing. I just think there's a lot of distinctions that need to be made, and to try and have a club carry $1 million or $2 million of liability insurance is just not right, in my opinion. And again, are we going to then make the yoga club carry it? And if the Mahjong club happens to meet at the pool, are they going to have this? It's a pretty extensive group. So I'd urge the council to vote against this proposal and instead come back with a more detailed formal one, as well as to provide residents prior a little more advanced notice with the actual details of the proposal, so that more people could participate in this discussion and have time to actually review the proposal prior to any vote. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else? Okay, so that ends the public hearing part, and I'm going to turn it over to the council president to lead the discussion.
All right, so who wants to start?
I'll be happy to start.
Okay, go
Since I think I
ahead.
started this. I started this because I received an email about the boys' camp, not club. It's called camp. So I read it. And it was, I don't remember how many children, but there were children from inside Somerset, outside Somerset. They had to be 8 or above. And I'm sure there was a particular number that they would take. I'm sure it wasn't like, everybody that, I'm sure it was limited. And with all good intentions, okay? I think it's great when they do things like this, but it's not a club, it's a camp. They charge, I think, $360 or $380 for the 2-week session. If you live outside of Somerset, you pay $5 a day to go swimming. My concern is that this is not informal, it's not a club, it's a camp. They called it a camp. And they had a waiver in there that makes it so you will not hold the counselors or their parents, that was in there too, liable for anything. So this is more of a business. It's not an informal club when you have those waivers, when you have all of this kind of structure. And I'm concerned about, they play outside, they come into the bathroom. The kids are welcome to come into the bathroom. Who brings them in? What if one of them comes in and hurts themselves? What if there's a pedophile in the building and we don't know it? I mean, there are all these things. Children can get hurt. So children come in from outside. Are they accompanied by their counselors? I don't know the answer to that. All right. That's right. Is it our staff that all of a sudden is taking care of these children that walk in the building that might be sick? You know, they might get sick. Children get sick. We all do. Then they go to the pool and it's false to think that the lifeguards are watching the children. They're watching them when they're in the pool. They try to stop things if kids are running. They're trying to keep the rules. But it's the counselors that need to watch these children, not the staff. I say that to parents all the time. It's just a false sense of security. If you think you send your child down to be babysat at the pool, the lifeguards complain about it all the time. They don't want to be the babysitters. They're not the babysitters. I'm not trying to ruin this for the children. You know, I think it's a club. That's a nice idea. But this camp, is it a camp? Is it a club? What does a club mean? What's our liability? What about the safety of these kids? It's really many prongs here. So I just want us to understand it and understand what our liability is and what's the right thing to do by our town, the children, and the parents as well. Because I know parents, I have one next to me, who's really enjoyed her daughter going to what they call the club. Now, I've seen that club at the camp, at the pool, but it's a lot of kids. A lot of kids are in this club, and they sit, and I've seen them start in the pool, Shannon. I've seen them where they all sit in a big circle and they talk. It's adorable, but it's a lot of them. And then they leave the pool and they go on their way to do their activities. I'm sure they come back in the end to the pool to swim. I'm glad they swim. It's our pool, but we just got to know what we're doing. So that's my, getting off my soapbox now.
I mean, you know, I do, I will say that as a parent of someone whose child does attend these camps, you know, I mean, I think that we just need a lot more clarification of like what it means and like how to excuse the town from these liabilities. But I will say that, you know, trying to raise kids in this hyper phone screen world, you know, that we live in is really challenging. And the fact that I can send my daughter to the pool by herself and keep her in this like tight knit community and give her some resilience to figure out like her, you know, if something happens at the pool, she's going to have to figure it out herself, but she's in the safety net of our Somerset, you know, world. And this town, I mean, the club or camp, whatever you want to call it, you know, just really provides, it to me, it's kind of, you know, it's like structured babysitting in a way for these counselors who are also on the swim team. And it's just a really nice, like town kind of, it's not a town thing, but I'm not really speaking very well tonight.
School's tomorrow.
But yeah, I don't know why. But my point is that I want to see a way that we can make it work. I think that having them get a license from the state of Maryland and $1 million and then up to $2 million of liability insurance will definitely take this to
Well, remember, we're not asking,
curb.
the thing is, they might be in violation of the law. So at the very least, we should let them know of all these issues that might be happening.
Yeah, I think that we just need to really understand the clarifications of what it is that they can and can't do. And
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I appreciate, Debbie. I hear you that you're concerned for the safety of these kids. I think that we have to figure out a way to thread the needle here because what we are requiring will end these clubs or camps. It will.
I agree.
They won't make it. So then that's not a good outcome either. So we have to figure out a way to thread the needle here. And I think at least as it is now, I would struggle to adopt it. I think we need a little bit more work on, you know, the discussion we had. And so I think it would be
Okay.
worth doing that. That's where I am.
Rather than go on all night, you know, I was thinking that probably the best thing to do now is because I don't think there is support to pass this tonight. So I think that the best thing would be, Mr. Town Attorney, is to,
I would like to say something.
Well, hold on.
Yes.
I'm speaking and I'm running this meeting.
Sure.
So, Mr. Town Attorney, how about the idea that we just inform all these camps of what the issues are and what the law is in terms of the state of Maryland, and then we just sort of table this now until we can get more information, because I don't think we're really ready to, the council's ready to make a decision on it. But I think it's really important to advise them of what the issues are and what the concern is, because we're not here, I don't think we're here really to try to punish anybody and to stop an act in very worthy activity. We're just trying to protect the town's liability and the children. But I don't think it's ready to pass tonight because you've had so many good questions. Okay, what did you want to
Rohit,
say?
do you have anything else?
Yeah, first of all, I agree. I don't think we're ready to adopt this today, which I think is what's on the agenda. I think that, so, you know, while I was just looking up online this website that's in the draft here. And I think what we should do right now is we should advise those who are running these camps what the law is. It's very clear what it is. I mean, you know, if you are running, there's a definition of youth recreational camps actually in the law.
Right.
It is X numbers, you know, it's actually X number of children, certain number of hours, certain types of activities, etc., etc. So for me, I think the thing for us to do is to advise those who are going to be running these camps that, look, there is Maryland law.
Right.
And you as camp organizers need to be familiar with this law. And if you meet the criteria for what the definition of a camp is, then you are going to be subject to all of this. I think this is the first step of what we need to do. My main, I mean, obviously safety and liability are important without any doubt, but I really don't want this to be a regulatory burden that actually catches babysitting gigs and somebody taking 3 kids to the pool or 5 kids to the pool or 2 friends who are babysitting between them, 7, 9-year-olds are going to now have to fill out all of this stuff because it's considered a camp by us. So I think they're actually not going to be considered a camp even by the state in those situations. You know, personally, I think that that of course, perhaps it's youthful naivete that they shouldn't have called themselves a camp in the first place. And by having said, you know, this is a camp, now they're in the Maryland state dragnet here because the Maryland state regulates camps, not us.
Right.
So I think for me, this is the step we should take now, is advise them, and we should come back to this at a next subsequent meeting.
So are you ready to make a motion to?
I think
I would like to say something. I'm trying. I think what we need, and Rohit said some of it, is a definition of a camp for us. And the idea is, yes, number of children. It also has to be recurring activities. And it also has to be, for us, using town facilities. And that needs to be further patched out. But that's the concept, that we need to have a definition so we have a clear thought of what a camp is. If we've got the legal definition, we can also footnote it and say the law is such and you need all these things in the footnote. But when it is a camp, then these rules apply, and these are the rules that our council is in.
Okay, Councilor O'Connor, would you like to make a motion to disapprove this resolution? Because that's what's on the table now.
Oh, that's be a full move. Well,
It's on the agenda, so
I move a motion that we do not adopt.
Table?
Well, it hasn't been introduced yet, Mr. Mayor, so.
but it was. Oh,
Today
right,
was
because it's a
introduction and
resolution.
Right.
So, but it's on the agenda. They have to do something with it.
Yeah,
But
it would just be tabled.
Move it to table.
Well,
Yeah.
I move a motion that we table the resolution to adopt recreational.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
next item is consideration of the adoption of a resolution to amend the permit fee and activity schedule. Mr. Town Manager.
So there's two changes. One has been discussed before, and it's on the construction fee schedule, and it's just been, add in that, carve out to make sure nobody's charged for any insect infested or injured beyond restoration trees. And then the second one is on the recreation fee schedule. Adds a recreational camp, section to the fee schedule. And that's why it was after the previous resolution of the agenda.
Okay, so
Down the bottom.
is that,
That's it.
okay, Council President Barr, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Councilor Heller?
No questions. Can we just take out this recreational camp fee thing? Because
In the motion.
in the motion, okay, thank you.
Councilor Kumar?
No question.
Councilor Rovak?
No questions.
Councilor Khanna?
I don't have any questions, but I think we can keep the recreational camp there as a matter of principle, so we don't have to come back to it later on.
Well,
And if we don't ever adopt anything, it just is.
Okay.
okay, well, then, it's time to make.
Can you come back and we have another
Okay.
question?
Yeah, what was your question?
My question is, so we have an early bird swim fee of $115 in there, and that was basically, that's what we did last year. But maybe the fees have gone up and we're gonna need to amend this fee. Can we come back to it later to amend it if need be?
Anytime the council wants.
You can amend that before the season.
Okay,
We-
that's
we're
what I
allowed
wanted to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Council prepared to make a motion.
Yeah, I move that we adopt the resolution to amend the permit fee and activity schedule.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in
I'm
favor?
Sorry,
Oh.
I thought that we were taking out the recreational camp part.
Rohit said, and I agreed with him too, that all it says is recreational camp to be determined by agreement on facilities as approved, so there's nothing in it that
It
requires.
just
a
has
fee.
the authority in the future.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't mean
We
anything.
haven't approved.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's just to have it. Is there
Okay.
further discussion? Hearing none, all those in
Okay, never mind.
favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you very much.